This study will initially begin with the synopsis attributed to Athanasius, because it is found within his Synopsis. This Jesus was a son of Sirach, and grandchild to Jesus of the same name with him. This man therefore lived in the latter times, after the people had been led away captive, and called home again, and almost after all the prophets. Now his grandfather Jesus, as he himself witnesseth, was a man of great diligence and wisdom among the Hebrews, who did not only gather the grave and short sentences of wise men that had been before him, but himself also uttered some of his own, full of much understanding and wisdom. When as therefore the first Jesus died, leaving this book almost collected, Sirach, his son, receiving it after him, left it to his own son, Jesus, who having gotten it into his hands, compiled it all orderly into one volume, and called it Wisdom, instilling it both by his name, his father's name, and his grandfather's, alluring the hearer by the very name of wisdom to have a great love to the study of this book. It containeth therefore wise sayings, dark sentences, and parables, and certain particular ancient godly stories of men who pleased God. Also his prayer and song. Moreover, what benefits God had vouchsafed his people, and what plagues he had heaped upon their enemies. This Jesus did imitate Solomon, and was no less famous for wisdom and learning, both being indeed a man of great learning, and so reputed also. Now we will continue into the prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach. Whereas many things and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by others that have followed their steps, for which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof not only the readers must needs become skillful themselves, but also they that desire to learn be able to profit them which are of another nation and without, both by speaking and writing. My grandfather Jesus, when he had given himself to reading the law, and the prophets, and other books of our fathers, and gotten therein good judgment, was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn, and are addicted to these things, might profit much more in living according to the law. Wherefore, let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew, and translated into another tongue, have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself, and the prophets, the prophecies, and the rest of the books, which have no small excellency, no small difference, when they are spoken in their own language. For in the 38th year coming into Egypt, where Evergetes the king reigned, and continued there some time, I found a help of learning, a book of no small learning. Therefore I thought it most necessary for me to bestow some diligence and travail to interpret it, using great watchfulness and skill in that space, to bring the book to an end, and set it forth for them also, which in strange country are willing to learn, being prepared for in manners to live after the law. In order for this text to be able to suit and fit and reach as many people as possible, this will conclude part 1 on the Audible documents on the book named The Wisdom of Jesus, the Son of Sirach, also titled Ecclesiasticus, as this book carries both names. This and the next part will cover the book's entirety within its own divisions to reach more ears, as translated from the original script from the King James 1611 version, originally authorized by King Luther, translated under him faithfully by 6 companies of scholars and scribes, approved by the Archbishop Richard Brancroft of Canterbury. If you have any updates for information on this text regarding its origin or regarding its history, feel free to comment within the comments section.